you have to have conditions set up where those people who have learned how to ride the winds of chaos can say to you, come on, let me show you how to do that. I think that's the first thing you have to have.
So the natural world, which we may normally go through unthinkingly, or sometimes be surprised by the natural world, is cultivated through religious ritual so that one pays greater attention to that world. And one cultivates a sense of gratitude and joy of being a creature. Those aspects are deepened through the ongoing nature of the religious life.
I can say that one of the ways that has been meaningful for me is participating in a community of worship, a community that sings on a regular basis, a community that enjoys and contemplates the message of symbols in imagery, a community that where in the presence of other people you can't help but laugh and smile and enjoy.
I used to think that becoming more joyful required going out and getting something I did not have, right? Instead of realizing that, no, we already have all that we need to be joyful. And so one of the best practices for developing joy or finding joy is practicing gratitude.
The second thing you have to have is a willingness to want to hold on to life, even when there is very little that makes sense in life. And joy is the currency that is flowing between hands in such situations.
If we look across the many world traditions and the different religious traditions, we see time and time again that there's one dimension of personal spirituality which is by far the most predictive of health and wellness, the greatest source of resilience, really known to the medical or social sciences. And that is a strong personal relationship with the divine, a direct relationship, a two-way lived relationship with our higher power.
There needs to be a centeredness of the self, and for the whole Bible, it's in the Lord God, maker of heaven and earth.
I have been in spaces of joy in hospital rooms, gathered with a family and a loved one who's passing on, but there are rituals of remembrance going on, a grief process is being begun, and in the midst of that, incredible joy connected to sorrow.
In the same way, Paul can command joy, which I think is to celebrate. And so even in a funeral, you are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus and his victory over death. And so to that extent, yes, you may begin to feel that, but you can't control your feelings. The objective celebration of what is true, then your feelings just have to catch up as best they can.
It is that stability of self that comes from that identity, that connection, that should, if it's cultivated and understood and cherished, if that relationship is cherished, it provides a firm foundation from which the vicissitudes of life can be viewed. That is, it's a broader perspective than simply the buffeting of one's life would lead us to believe.